approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
Oh, what is up? We're back. Quick turnaround. Feels good. We're down to the round of 16. So as you're coming in here, say what's up. 2 in a week. What's better than that? Ooh, just getting the link sent out for your viewing preferences. Twitch and YouTube. All right, should be good. Red or Dead, what's happening? Good to see you. Good to hear from you. You love to see it. All right, that should be good. Love it. All right, here talking, what number are we on? 501, 501. 501. Yamil Assad, MCL injury, so not good. He was in really good form too, so that'll change some things down with Cincy. A few changes today, actually, for my preliminaries. I think I had maybe, what was it? Maybe 5 or 6 changes throughout, just some team news, things here and there. So as always, we'll go through all the lineups. And if you have any questions as you're coming in, appreciate everyone coming in to start with. If you're on Twitter, obviously you can't ask questions. Jump over to Twitch or YouTube. I just posted the links to both. So I appreciate everyone coming in. Any questions you have for MLS, Leagues Cup, can't really speak on the Liga MX side, but we can talk about that as well. And then once we go through the lineup, since there isn't that many, what are we at? Like 9 MLS teams, and then 10, including Seattle, left. Then we'll get into the actual game week. So we did a stream team last time. I'm still deciding. I probably won't do a stream team for the midweek just because prices are just crazy for a midweek player. Because there's not many to choose from. Yeah, let's get into some things. Red or Dead. Seems you have the floor at the moment. Let me just pull this up for you. All right, so Sergio Santos, any chance of minutes? So yeah, he'll definitely play. If we take a look at Cincy, a couple things, and we'll get to their lineup as well. Let's just check out the run out of Sergio Santos here. He has played pretty much every single game. You have to go all the way back. He was coming off a leg injury in early May. He has played at least a sub appearance. He had 4 minutes there. It's usually around 20 minutes. Worst case scenario, he's in really good form, except for the 25 minutes against Santos Laguna. Goal, assist. So he is kind of in decent form. Could he start? Sure. If they do some rotation, but with the injury, I'll get to the lineup for sure. Let's hop right into Cincy. Will Lucho start or will he come off the bench? I could see a situation where he comes on in halftime against Philadelphia. It's just hard to say. So Sergio, I have him at 20%. That's a little low, but if Lucho's back even if he's not back, I think they play the 3-4-2-1 again. Santos has a better chance whenever they play just the cam. So it was Valenzuela playing it before, and then 2 strikers. But I don't think that's going to be a situation unless Orejano slides back to left wing back instead of Halsey starting, or Kubo could, slide into a wing back position. He's played there before this season. And then maybe, you have Kelsey who could start. You have Santos who could start. Baird who could start. There's just a lot of different pieces there. Again, the Assad MCL injury, we don't know the actual severity, but it should be several weeks out at the minimum. So not great for Assad owners because he's in good form. Fabio, what's happening? Do you think Drood will have his first minutes? I do think he's going to have his first minutes. The question will be, does he start? I don't think he's going to start out of the gate, in my opinion. I'm 30% at him. I think he's going to come off the bench. Maybe we see him like 20 or 30 minutes, depending how the game goes. Formation-wise, they could either go 4-3-3 or stick with the 3-4-3. 3-4-3 makes more sense to me, just with Timothy Tillman being out. He's expected to miss this match, but he could be available off the bench for the next match. So that is definitely interesting, just to get him back, because that's a big loss. That's kind of why I'm leaning towards this. Atuesta hasn't started every match. He came off the bench for the first two. He started the last match, but Bogusz could slide into that position if Drood were to start. But I don't know. I just don't see Drood starting. Could be wrong, but he has been training. He should be fine, but I just don't think they're going to start him right out of the gate. There's no real reason, you would think, against San Jose, although San Jose is in pretty solid form. They just dispatched of Necaxa 5-0. Pretty straightforward match for them. They got to rest some people, so we'll see it. Could some teams have double game weeks? No, we shouldn't see any double game weeks. All teams, including Seattle Pumas, whoever wins that match tonight, those will be not this midweek, right? Not this midweek, the weekend. The actual dates on those matches, I think it's like where are we at? It might be 18th and 19th. I can't remember exactly, but it won't be a double game week. Good question, Fabio. T. Hatling, thanks for that question as well. When Tillman returns, who will leave the team? Last year, Tillman rotated a little bit. Whenever he was in the lineup, he was really, really good form. Atuesta's form has not been very, very good, to say the least. He's not the same player. It's not the same team, obviously, whenever he was in LAFC before. I could see him losing a spot, possibly. I do think whenever he's back, Tillman, that is, they'll go back to the 4-3-3. So Chanel is probably going to be the odd man out as center back. Instead of having 3 in the back, they'll go to 4. So you should see Illy. I mean, he's pretty locked in. It could be Atuesta, a rotation-ish. With Tillman, the big kind of change, Bogusz sliding back into the midfield. I see that happening with Drood starting. Whenever Drood starts, Bogusz won't play that number 9 role, false 9, whatever you want to call it. Oliveira's been in good form. He started off pretty rocky, but he's been in good form. So it's kind of hard to see any of those players losing their spot. I think there is going to be a rotation. Like, Illy won't play every single match down the stretch. They want to keep fresh legs. So there might be some rotation in that midfield. Good question. But other than that, I just don't know about Hollingshead and Omar Campos. Is it a changing of the guard? Is it, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. And the one guy I haven't talked about is Lewis O'Brien. So he's also coming in. If you remember him from DC, he was on loan last year until the summer, and then he went back. He's interesting. He's still waiting on his visa, but he has been training. I just don't think he's going to start out of the gate for sure. But he's good. He's a good piece as well. So there's a lot of mouths to feed. This LAFC team is really good, to say the least. If you look at the team as a whole, they don't really have many issues whatsoever. I think Danny Bouanga is going to be really opened up with Drood coming in. Kind of takes a little bit of a, I don't know. I think Bouanga is going to get a little bit more assist opportunities where, he's scoring more goals. So you might see a downtick in goals, but this team's going to score 2 to 3 goals probably every match, unless, it's a road fixture that they're struggling with. Yeah, good question. So yeah, let's start at the top. Let's rotate through again. We'll just bounce around. There's no real setter way or form. But yeah, just hit me with your questions as you're going. Fabio, Griezmann to LAFC. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to be this window. The window's closing here in under a week. So I think maybe we see it next summer. There's a lot of connections there. I don't want to say it's a done deal, but there's a lot in the works. And just kind of like fees wise, you might as well just wait the year. Could he come in the winter window? I doubt it, just because you're waiting for the season to come up. So I would think next summer, but absolutely, I think it's a possibility. Just not in this window for me. I could be wrong. He could join next week, but I just don't think that's the case here. But it is possible. Crew. So we got some news today. It wasn't really an update. But Wilfred Nancy, he is undecided who will start in net. The original plan was for Hagen to get it while Schulte was at the Olympics. But he says it would be good to get Schulte back in the rotation. So however you want to read that, that is a toss-up. At first, before this the original quote had me leaning Hagen. But with that, it would be good to get Schulte back in the rotation. That kind of makes me think the Schulte's going to get it, but it's really hard. I own a Schulte. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the lack of options. I would like to play under 23 because if we take a look at the game week info, at least for rare, that's your best chance to get a reward. As of now, 403 lineups, 74 card rewards. So we're at an 18% chance. This is server probabilities. Master Google Sheet. On Twitter, you can get a free trial, and it is again, every stream I'll hype it up because it is absolutely amazing. But I also have Nicholas Hadel. We'll talk about him later. He has a minor knock, but that's not MLS. So that's really tough. If you have both, I guess throw one in each lineup, and one's gonna be dead, one's not gonna be dead. But it's tough. They had some people rotate just because they went out there and smashed Sporting Kansas City. Alex, if you're watching, sorry, that's a brutal one. The changes that I could possibly see is Traburco and Amundsen. I don't really know the situation. They kind of go back and forth. They don't go back and forth. But Amundsen, I think he played like 64 minutes-ish. And they kind of had that rotation. I think we could see Traburco there. Yeah, absolutely, Fabio. Arfson should still be in there. DeJuan Jones came off the bench and actually did pretty solid. He had a goal in 14 minutes? Yeah, right here, 14. But Arfson's form, he's been a really a spark to the starting lineup this season. So I don't think he'll lose his job. But Jones is going to be kind of that guy that is going to push him for sure. Jones is coming off a hamstring injury as well, so that kind of leans towards him not starting. Front three, keep them the same, right? Everything worked really well last match. Keep it rolling. Zawadzki, I think he is kind of fending off Chambos, but we will see a changing of the guard there. It's just how long. Matan, he's kind of out of the starting gig. He hasn't started in a while. But other than that, you should see this team want to get into form for MLS play down the stretch. And kind of, they lost in the final and maybe get a little bit of redemption. So they got a tough one. Miami is no slouch. They've been in good form. It's just kind of no Messi, but they've looked pretty good without Messi. You don't want to play without him, obviously, but they have so many good pieces. Some of these young kids are just outstanding talents. All of them. Diego Gomez, phenomenal. Rojas, phenomenal. Gomez is going to Brighton after the year. Redondo, really good. Aviles, center back. So yeah, they've kind of bounced around. David Martinez for sure out. Red card suspension. Aviles looked like cramping to me. I have him at 70%, but should be good. Lack of center back options. We'll probably see Busquets slide back in. It just kind of makes sense with the midfield here. It allows you to play kind of your best 11 with Busquets at center back in this situation, instead of taking off a guy like, I don't even know who you would take out. It was kind of, whenever I was building a lineup, it was kind of that as well. But then you got Luis Suarez. Will he kind of rotate off again? You don't know his run Are they going to maybe, give Campana a half? I think Suarez will start at the gate. He's going to play minutes regardless, a good chunk of minutes because, knockout match. Robert Taylor, he's kind of an interesting situation. Will he start? Won't he start? He's kind of in a rotation now. Gomez can play there. You have Kromoski coming back. So, Kromoski could play here. Gomez could slide up here. I think that would be more of a best 11 situation. But Taylor didn't play last match, didn't start last match. So I think he might get back in there. Will Gazdag play? He fully trained. He is a little sore, but he went through full training today. The beat writer said he expects him to start. You can take that for what it's worth. I went 70% on him. We'll get to Philly. Actually, we'll just bounce right to Philly. 5 assists and 2 negative decisives to really cap that. That was crazy. That was during the stream that we did, and I guess a couple days ago. But I remember Alex was sweating that, and it was just like he had the negative decisive. Hey, Alex. Speak of the devil. Will the 240 end up finishing? I don't know, actually. We were really close. We were really close to hitting that $8, the $8 threshold there. Let's get to the ones that matters. The third goal in I think it was like the 88th minute, 87th minute, something like that, was the killer. We ended up at 336. I went for the 340, but it looks like we're gonna get tier 4. So hey, it wasn't for nothing. It's a shame that all these other scores were phenomenal, and then the goalie was just the issue. Looking back, probably not smart, just because all these other players are in challenger, and then I picked up a contender goalie. I probably, looking back, should have looked forward at that. But I really like the AA monster, Vinny Souza. DaCosta, who Alex recommended, he smashed. Hamer had a goal that it was an absolute gift. The keeper just basically gave him the ball and he chipped it over him. And Horman's in probably the best matchup he's going to have all season. Scored a 92.2. So that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. That was probably the most fun I've had with Sorare in a while. And I was actually sweating this lineup more than my other ones. And I had some good sweats throughout those. So pretty good. I'm in line for a tier 2 rare and 2 tier 3s, and then the limited came through as well. Philly doing well, obviously. Gazdag kind of gas. Had other positions, could have filled in there, obviously, but who cares? Then you got, this one was good other than Ura. So I had one guy off in each one. This one was in the jersey one. Actually did pretty good in the jerseys. And this one was a real bummer. Hadel didn't start. So I had 307 with 4 players in this. That could have been something special, but it happens. Yeah, selling for profit would be cool too. So I'm not sure if I'm going to, some of these guys, I don't know. If you look at all of them, DaCosta's solid. I might sell DaCosta maybe. Souza, they're going to be good pieces as long as Souza doesn't move, and really solid. But Horman's, if I could sell him for a profit, that'd be great. He's not going to sell for a profit. I overpaid as well, but it is what it is. Daniel, I saw Thomas in the Seattle. Wow, Thomas is back in. That's brutal. That is brutal. I haven't looked at lineups. Let's check it out. So we got Thomas. Are there any other shocks? Rothrock's back in. So that's kind of the only one. I'm pretty surprised there. So let's see how just kind of compare how we did there. Because honestly, with this being so long ago, I feel like this match was so long ago that I did go 60-40. So I guess not the worst. But yeah, that's just Thomas just for Leagues Cup. ATG, yeah. It's pretty toss up, but that the broadcaster and Schmetzer in his presser said they would be looking to give Frey some game time, which kind of took me off Thomas, which is brutal. So, limited whale 5%. Let's go. He's back. Still the same name. Love it. Yeah, Alex should be just for Leagues Cup, I would think. I mean, Aiden Thomas has been okay, but I'd say that's about it. Yeah, so I apologize on that. If you're looking for the late hammer, it's probably not meant to be, but if you're waiting for like a full stack, it's a shame. But yeah, first round of 16 match. It's kind of weird that they're playing a standalone game tonight, and then the rest, I don't know enough about Pumas to really even. I know a few of their players, but I don't know enough to speak on that starting lineup. So if anyone has any surprises there, obviously you can drop them. Let's see, where were we? Excuse me. So I talked on Gazdag. Yeah. And the sad thing is, like, they didn't even put dates of like knockout rounds. Like, every match should be pre-scheduled. There shouldn't be an issue. Like, it's amateur hour. It's Leagues Cup. Philly. Sorry, I don't remember who asked. I think it was Fabio. Yeah, Fabio asked if Gazdag would be ready. So if you're coming in, he trained fully today. B Writer said he thinks he's going to start. I went 70%. I'm not sold. He said he's still in pain, so I think he should start. But there could be a situation where it's the same like situation as Costa on the other side. He comes on at halftime, gets a little rest. I have Harriel at 50% here, 60% if you count the left back. But I think it could be Bizo as the starter. Harriel was cramping last match. It wasn't an injury, but it kind of makes sense to flip-flop those. So I wouldn't be surprised here if Bizo starts. My Harriel, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I haven't really looked at rosters, but just kind of thinking I'm definitely going to try and play under 23. I have other options. I probably won't play Harriel. Just me personally, you could play him, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, Alex, hopefully Lucho starts. For you just picked him up, and I didn't see what you paid, but it had to be a sick deal. The prices are crazy low right now in MLS players. I just don't have a ton of interest in buying any MLS players. I'm taking the bait and going into a little bit of Europe. Yeah, the broadcast did mention that. Bogarts mentioned that he's had rumors for sure. He will be moving. I don't know if it'll be a January window type thing. It could be. Where McGlynn moves, or next summer. I think there's no chance he's not gone. But again, it could be a winter deal. I was kind of surprised Carranza didn't finish out, but yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, he is arguably the best mid on the platform whenever MLS is playing. Yeah. Dana, any thoughts on the new Philly signing? So Danley Jacques or something. I didn't know anything about him, to be honest with you. He's come from Mets. I think it's kind of a guy that they're trying to get into the Philly way, similar to what they normally do with players. They bring them in. They usually don't, play right out of the gate. They kind of get into the system. And then if you're looking like replacements, McGlynn, like if you're thinking the next year, McGlynn, gone. Bedoya's probably he already has like a front office gig. So this is probably gonna be his last season. I can't see him playing another year. And then Leon Flock is actually gonna be a free agent as well. So I think this is just to kind of snag a guy that's going to be a depth piece. He has no Sorare card. I wouldn't buy him anyway at the moment. Just kind of thinking he shouldn't play a factor too much. There's just too many pieces in that midfield right now. But next year, yeah. Andre Blake, what can you say about him since he came in? He's been phenomenal. He's kind of changed everything, especially how bad he was at the beginning of the year. It's not that he's a good goalie. Don't take this the wrong way. It's just kind of how he commands everyone. He has more rapport with the back line, and he can even keep Damian Lowe somewhat together because they have the Jamaica kind of partnership there. And I'm not a Lowe guy whatsoever. I think he's an idiot. He just is way too careless, but he's kind of sure the back line. So I do think we see McGlynn back in the starting lineup. There's nothing other than it was just a rest. He did help any of the McGlynn players with that late assist to Baribo, which hopefully he plays again. Adeniran did a lot of good, and he had a lot of bad as well, in my opinion. He did put the D on the back foot, but he did make simple errors. I know Daniel watched the match, but if you watch that match, they would get into the final third, and then that last pass was just horrible. They just didn't know what to do. They would get into the areas, just not know what to do. At Flock at 50% here, we could see Bedoya start. I don't have Sullivan in the lineup. He could start. There's a lot of different pieces here. They will rotate to keep everyone fresh. That's why I have Ura back in. Even Baribo, he could sub out and come off the bench. But at the same time, they're trying to win. Fierce rivals with Cincinnati. It's not the hell is real Columbus-Cincinnati rivalry, but if you look back to the last time they played, Philly clawed, and then it was a late goal. So I think it was like a 4-3 finish. It was a wild match, but they blew that one. So he's too used to his opponents passing it to him from the St. Louis days. Yeah. I mean, you look at his goal scoring form, even in Next Pro, he's been good. So it's a good little spark plug that they picked up. I don't hate that at all. So yeah, this is Predictify. In case you didn't know, the other ones are inside. It's just because there's notes on them. It's just kind of my cheat sheet. Yeah, let's go. Talus Magno, baby. He attacked the ball late winner, or I think it tied the match for Corinthians in Brazil. Cushing just held him back. He's going to ball out. Not worried about that at all. Free my man, Talus Magno, baby. He was so good with Tati Castellanos. It's just crazy, the downfall from, he was so good till not even ever playing, which is crazy. Talk about Cincy. Let's go straight to Cushing's men. And I would think the rotation's over for Cushing, but Cushing never seems to fail to surprise me. Should see McFarland still. Atoll is getting healthier. Burke Risa, they said that it was a slight knock, but he's fine. Last match, Gray is the much better option. You just never know if that rotation's coming. Midfield, it could be Parks and Sands. That's obviously their go-to, but Justin Hack has been in the starting lineup. Parks coming back from that hamstring knock. He looked fine. I don't really have any reservations. Morales was rotated last match. Ojeda started on the left, Santi in the middle. Wolf, he had that knock as well, but he seems fine. Mijatovic, he didn't play very well after scoring, so I think they wanted to give him some run. Freeze was back in, so he should hold court there. I would like to see Martinez. I've seen his name as Alonso Martinez, Adrian Martinez. It seems like Opta has him as Adrian Martinez. That's what we're going to call him. I'd like to see him start again. He had that good run of form, and then it just kind of never came back. I don't like Bakrar at all. I think he stinks. So that's who I would play up top, but I'm not a genius like Nick Cushing. So Here we are with New York City. They're playing Tigres. As a Santi holder, I just am not expecting a lot out of that match. I think Tigres is a much better team. I think everyone thinks that. That's not a surprise. Blank Martinez. Yeah, he's Blank Martinez. We have a couple Liga MX matches. Cruz Azul, Mazatlan. Cruz Azul were much better than Philly. They really took it to us. Held on for a draw, lost some PKs. They shouldn't have much issues there, in my opinion. GG Hattie. GG Hattie, baby. Whoops. I do think Crew are going to go through. It's hard to see Philly going into TQL and winning, but maybe we get lucky in pens. I just think Cincy's probably going to advance there. Tigres here, Cruz Azul here. And then Toluca versus Colorado. This is a really interesting matchup just because Toluca is a crazy elevation city as well, or a team from a crazy elevation, and they're playing Colorado, who obviously, if you're familiar with the MLS and geography, they are a mile high as far as elevation. So no issues with Toluca going there. I think last year this was a matchup too, because I remember writing about it. Interesting. And, Colorado, when they play their best, they're really tough. When they don't play their best, they have holes on the back line. Zach Steffen, doesn't look great, to say the least. They do have issues. Bombito is the one held out of training. There's rumors. Nice and Rebel Salzburg, but that's not why he was held out of training. It's a knock, but it's not like a long-term thing. I don't see him starting. I think he'll be held out again. The only possible rotation, Laraz, could be for either Bassett moving somewhere, but Mihalovic should be a starter. Amir Fernandez could get a start, but I think Lewis's form keeps him in on the left side. Harris has been solid as well, so you might not see too many changes whatsoever from the last team. But it's just, which team are we going to get? I do think they have a chance to win. It's just, will they take care? And then we get to the kind of surprise team, but at the same time, is it a surprise? You have Club America versus St. Louis City. St. Louis City is a completely different looking team, but they do have issues on the back line that could be exposed in this matchup, which kind of scares me a little bit for them. But no, I did not. I start back next Monday. Boo. So if you look at this St. Louis City team, which Alex doesn't like, clearly, with that rivalry, it's Hershey. What's happening? Let's go. The new pieces have stepped up. They look good. The only issues I have is the back line. At left back, Markinich, he was the starter, and then he's not starting anymore. It's been Watson Reed. Reed's been pretty solid. He was with the Red Bulls last year, more with their second team, but he's been solid, Jalen Reed. And Watts has been solid as well. So I think they are finding pieces that they like. The issue is center back. Tim Parker trade happened, and they got Kessler back. Kessler's ineligible because he played one of the matches in Leagues Cup before being traded, so he is not available, which leaves a big hole. Nielsen's hurt, but they're ramping up. You have Horn, who's unveiled at halftime, but I don't think he's going to be in consideration to start. He could be an option. But Hebert being subbed off due to an injury, that could be huge for this team. Really huge for this team. So whenever he was, they didn't have any options. So I think Josh Yaro is pretty safe. But Girdwood, he came in and he played pretty well. I have to say, I did kind of watch back some clips. He played pretty well. I think he could get that start again. It's just he's going to be put under pressure. It's going to be difficult. As it's Hershey says, Simon Bescher. I always want to say Bichère because that's that's very Canadian sounding, French Canadian sounding, but it's Besher. But yeah, he's somehow doing really well. Like that was the signing that I'm like, oh, okay, this will be a bench guy that comes on for like 15 to 20 minutes a match, and he's just right into the starting lineup, which to share kind of playing in that cam underneath that number 10 role underneath him. I thought he would have started as striker just as a guy that he plays similar to the Giacchini role of last year where Klaus was allowed to, do his thing. So whenever Klaus is back, which should be in MLS play, I'm interested to see how that works. It should be Klaus and then Toucher kind of playing behind him a little bit. Marcel Hartl looking good. And I think the other one, which we could see Vasilev, I think those two are going to rotate until, some of these other guys are healthy. And then Blom had that suspension due to violating team rules. He should be available, but I don't see him starting. So a different looking team. And I'm not going to lie, I don't hate this lineup whatsoever. It's just you're going to have issues in the back line. It's just kind of, it is what it is. And you're playing one of the better teams in Liga MX. And then, okay, here we go. He is a St. Louis guy. He didn't travel with the team. I wouldn't have expected him to be in the roster, but that is good to know. I'll definitely take him out of the projection after the stream. I just got to make a little note of that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm actually just going to dock him now before I forget. And then our last match, LAFC. Whenever we look at the whole game week on the whole, they're one of the biggest favorites in the entire game week against San Jose, who's making a good run. I mean, as bad as San Jose's been, they are kind of they're kind of going to be up against it though, just to be nice. You like my lineup? All right, perfect, good. A lot of these, if you're a fan team, like I'm a fan of Philadelphia, but does that mean that I know everything about every single team? No, absolutely not. But like even my Philadelphia lineup, I'm just going off beat writers. I watch every minute of every match, but you still don't know what's going on, like in Jim Curtin's head. So that's always, a little bit of an issue. Kind of a guessing game. We're getting a little bit less out of the guessing of the original aspect of it, but man, I'm kind of ready for League's Cup to be over. We are getting into the knockouts, and it is kind of entertaining, but I'm ready for league play, and I'm actually ready for EPL more. I like watching, Europe in the morning. There's just something about it. The late nights with MLS aren't for the weak, that's for sure. Especially whenever you just have 14 lineups or 14 matches going. Davidov, what's happening? Thanks for stopping in. So let's get to LAFC. I briefly I went through them, but if you have any questions on them, hit me with them. I forgot we already went through them. Let's go to San Jose because they have made slight changes throughout. The big one being Kikanovic at right back. With all the injuries, Akapo, all these guys, he's actually been really solid at right back. They smashed Necaxa 5-0, and some guys only played 64 minutes, like Hernan Lopez, Espinoza, Abobase. I think these guys all got 64 minutes, so they're going to be fresh. Rodriguez was one of the ones for sure. Daniel Mooney coming in, he scored really well SO5-wise. I do prefer him to Beeson. Beeson's just not very good. He's a third center back, maybe even a fourth center back on most teams. But other than that, the lineup kind of plays itself. It's pretty straightforward. They play the 4-2-3-1, and this should be the 11. The only question mark is, and as it's highlighted here, is it going to be Yarbrough? Is it going to be Daniel? Daniel's still getting back into full fitness. I couldn't really find much information other than just kind of precautionary why he wasn't in the squad. What does that mean for this match? I don't know. If he's healthy, he should start. Yeah, I just can't imagine them benching. Yeah, Yarbrough had one clean sheet? It's Daniel's team. It's just kind of maybe they rushed him back. It was kind of surprising he was straight into the starting lineup. But again, at training, you might see different things. I just can't imagine. I'm the same way with you. I just can't fathom Yarbrough getting a longer leash than he already has. I mean, Jackson won the job from him and then lost it. Like, it's Daniel's team, unless I don't know. it's Daniel's team, but we don't know if he's in full fitness. It would be nice to get a little tidbit beforehand, but if you're not familiar with, forget who it is, but he hates Sorare. The J Moore Quakes, maybe. A lot of people have tweeted him, and he's like, "I'm not helping with your stupid game." I don't even know if he's their beat writer anymore, actually. But yeah, I just remember the one interaction. It wasn't me, so if you're wondering, it wasn't me. Do you think Drood might get some game time? Yeah, I talked about him earlier, so welcome to the stream, Neil. I do think he's going to get some game time. I just don't know if he's going to start. I went 30%. I just don't think not to be, I don't think they need him right now against San Jose. I think they want to build him into the system, give him some time. He was on holiday for a while after the Euros. So he's been training. It's not like he's going to come in and not be fit. I just think we might see, a small platter of him, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, or they just go straight out of the gate and go for the throat. And could be interesting either way. That's for sure. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. So that's the one thing I do like about knockout round of Leagues Cup. Look at these fixtures. I was done. I was done like Wednesday. I don't even know what day we're. Saturday night, Sunday. No, I think it was Sunday. I was done Sunday with my lineups. It felt so good. Detroit Bad Boy, what's happening? If you weren't in his stream, I popped into his stream earlier. He streams around the same time, talking MLS, a little bit of everything. So shout out to him over there on YouTube. He does Twitch and all that good stuff. So definitely check him out if you're not familiar. We talked about Seattle. I'm going to pop that on my side screen. Obviously, I can't show it on here. I actually don't know if I can. I assume you're not allowed to. But let's talk about server probabilities and his sheet. His post, I think it was yesterday or today, he posted about like applying this to rivals. So like that's the next step, I guess. This sheet's crazy. You need it. If you want to give me a little kickback, I do get a little kickback. If you do the free trial or, you do the membership, if you put in, I think there's like, which expert told you? And then you throw the MLS one in there. That's me. I do get a small kickback, but use somebody, even if you don't use me, if you do go for the free trial, but just you can DM me. I can get you in contact with that. But there's going to be huge things with this. If you weren't here in the last stream, it's definitely worth it. I literally use this, and then Alex was one of the ones that was kind of helping me. Lewis, he's the EFL championship and the Prem expert, kind of helping as well. But we literally just now we support you. Drop the link. I'll do it now. S_probabilities on Twitter. Just DM him and he'll make you. So like these are all personally. You can see my email up there, but these are all personally sent out, so you have to go through him. There's not like a link, but you know what? Let's just pull up his Twitter and I'll link it in the. Why would I not do that? Oh, there was an earthquake in Los Angeles, if you're wondering. By the way, just going to slide that in there. Yeah, it's right here. So you can DM him if you want. I'll put it in the message here. That should be linked to it. But yeah, he gets free trials. And honestly, I don't know what the price is in the product. You'll have to tell you. But I'm pretty sure it's really inexpensive for the amount that it does. Like, it's crazy. So if you weren't in the last stream, basically I did a stream team. I went through the projected. These are kind of like his kind of scoring. It's kind of like Play Sharper. I think he provided the Play Sharper ones. Might want to fact check me on that, but he had some role in that. that figure, that projected score. And it's a huge help. It's not the be all end all, but I mean, just kind of putting you somewhere, it definitely helps out. So like, he is just constantly churning out new things. This is one of my favorites, with the UI being absolutely horrible and being able to find like how many people are in your different divisions. This helps a ton. So obviously in the morning, before I've been building in the morning more than later, but you can just update all data, and you can put your team in here as well, under my players, and I use that a ton. But you can also use the player database. But as you can see here for rare, and I'll show limited as well. But rare right now, 18% chance to win a reward is the best you're going to get. I know cap 240 rares there. I'll probably throw a team for sure in there. But if you're looking for just based on that, taking away the actual, beat the game type of thing, under 23, and then cap 220. I saw that and I'm like, well, the rewards aren't great in 220, but yeah, it is what it is. But it just kind of helps you out. So let's pop into limited. Let's see what limited's about as of now. Same kind of thing. Under 23, 17% chance. 220s next. It's the same kind of thing. All that this is telling me, and you don't have to be a genius to think this out, All-Star is going to be a bloodbath. As far as there's not a lot of teams playing, but that's where all the cards are going to go, in my opinion. But again, I could be wrong as well. But that's just kind of my feeling. Oh, here we go. I know he'll be towards the top, but Ramalho at defender is my pick this time. Love it. Love it. We're going to go through them. Whether I buy a team or not, we'll see. What is your all-star lineup? I haven't built anything. I've been building in the morning, like waking up, and let's see, Eastern time, it's 10 a.m. And since I'm not working or anything right now, this will change, obviously. But I've been doing it at like 8:30. I've been throwing on, Quinny and Harry, and just kind of building while, in case I'm missing any information that comes in. Always got to watch their streams, whether I'm in the chat or just building lineups in the background. But I really haven't looked at what I have going on. I just know my, obviously everyone knows your gallery pretty well. But I'm going after under 23. If I can, I need Hadel to play. I think it was a slight knock. They're playing Trabzonspor. Hopefully they can, keep that run going. But I'm probably going to go for under 23 and then mix of Philly guys. But, like Schulte, I was really hoping he would play so I could have an extra goalie. But I have all these goalies. I'm not going to have anywhere to play all of them, just based on the other options that I have. You got Kai, 2 Kais. He's going to be an all-star for sure. The Blake Kai option there. But if you look, I don't really have many good defending options. As far as under 23, I would like to do the Rapid Vienna stack with Jonas Arer, however you say it. He's been a really good scorer. Midfield, same kind of thing. Will Kenneth Taylor start? He didn't start the weekend, so he should. Is that Panathinaikos? Yeah. But then you got like Barrial going against Boca Juniors. Not a good matchup. I just don't really have much. Do I throw Gazdag in there? I know it's really showing it not, but based on the information we have today, then at forward, I don't have a lot of options other than a decent Twente plays Salzburg. That's tough. After the reverse fixture, I think it was a 2-1 loss. I do like his card. I could play Baribo, and Luis Henrique would be the other one, but they're playing Palmeiras. They are at home, so I don't expect anything from this game week, to be honest with you. But that's kind of what I'm working with, just kind of in my head. That's what I'll probably go with, some sort of fashion of that. I'm excited for rewards to get a few more into the gallery, just kind of based on what they were. My rewards, I actually hit a jackpot. Let's see. Do I want? Yeah, look at rewards. Not like that, you idiot. How do you get there? My gallery. Server results. Players. I don't know. It's not worth it. But I can't even remember his name because he popped off for Salzburg in like a spot start. I hadn't heard of him beforehand. But Musa Yao, or however you say it, 92.7. He absolutely smashed his face off. Let's get into rare. I won him as, I don't remember what it was. We're kind of locked here. It's not doing anything. He's not a set starter, and they do a lot of rotation, but he seems like he is talented. But I actually sold his new season, I think $50 even. But that was a nice little boost from a guy that was kind of like, I don't know anything about him. He doesn't look like he plays. And then he plays and then smash. And I was able to flip real quick. So that felt good. Actually being able to sell cards lately, it's weird. Like I won the Schulte and I sold him. He sold in like under an hour, which does that mean we're back? I think we're getting there. My internet connection isn't back. That's for sure. Let's refresh. All right. Can we get to rare? Oh, change this graph. But yeah, so I was able to sell them for around 50. You know, the instant buy was 54. I listed them for 50 and he sold kind of right away. That's great. You can see what the other cards are going for 20. So a nice little markup. Yeah, that was a highlight for sure. But let's get into the fixtures. What are we talking about? Who's good? Who's bad? Flamengo. 90.09%. They have a few players that are minted. We'll get into the player database to see who those are and who's kind of projected crazy scores. They're projected 3.04 XG, expected goals, the clean sheet 60%, all the above. So Flamengo is your best team. Club Bolivar, I don't know much about him other than, just kind of the team name. Club the Strongest. Yeah, the Strongest is hysterical. Is that Bolivia, I believe? I could be wrong on that. Sounds like they'd be Bolivia. Does it tell us? That doesn't tell us. Then you got Club Libertad from Paraguay, I believe. They've made several really good players. Diego Gomez is from there. There's a few others that are really solid. Then we have LAFC, a team that we actually know, playing in San Jose, 70%, 2.26 XG. I would be shocked if Denny Bouanga doesn't score at least 60. That's just kind of, at this point, it should be a guarantee against San Jose, who their defense is not that great. Then we have a little bit of Spain, Bilbao, playing Getafe and Champion. That's crazy. Then we have a little bit, Sudamericana, Libertadores, and then we have a little bit of CSL. So this is a list of teams that most people are probably not very familiar with. I know I'm not very familiar with them other than I know the clubs. I just don't know anything about these teams. So whenever I was thinking, do I want to make a stream team? None of these teams would fit in any sort of idea of playing other than I don't really want to, get some of these teams, but FC Cincinnati having higher percent over Ajax is mind boggling. Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy. Ajax plays Panathinaikos, right? Is that what? No, that wasn't the match. Yeah, it is. That is kind of surprising. You'd think Ajax would be a little bit of a bigger favorite. Home field advantage. Since he has Philadelphia's number, maybe some of these things go into that. It's kind of crazy. The first fixture, I think Ajax won, so maybe that's a little bit played in. Maybe they'd be happy with a draw. Maybe that's a little bit lower. Norway, boy, I don't know if any players are from here. The Hungary Puskas Academia against Ararat, Armenia. I've never heard of that club ever. If you have, You gotta let me know. Over, baby. I mean, if Philly can score, Philly's gonna need some pens, or it might just be another 4-3 barn burner like last time, which was a lot of fun, but the result was not fun. Again, conference league. Some of these, I don't know about Opta. Sometimes these matches, aren't full coverage. You have to look on Sorare to see if they all are. I assume they would be at this point, but you never know. Copenhagen, they are on the road, right? Yeah. Then you got Columbus against Inter Miami, above 50%. Another China, Colo Colo, Conference League, Granada, Albacete, 54% there for contender. You got Fener against Lille. That's a kind of intriguing Champions League play there. FBL, what's happening? Good to hear from you. Oh, you have Fortaleza and Rosario Central collections. They play each other this game week, so you got a stack going either way, right? You got to hope one side or the other. That's definitely interesting there. Yeah, Frey, with the comments and stuff, I'm really surprised Andy Thomas, but it seems like I guess Leagues Cup is his. FC Seoul playing Jeju United and K-League. There's my Rapid Boys, 51%. Probably not going to be a clean sheet, but we'll see. Laird's Michelin playing against Frank Varosi. Is that a Greek team? Not sure. And then sub 50% for the rest. So again, this is a crazy game week in terms of team names, recognizable teams. You're going to have like your River Plates, teams like that. We have Real Betis versus Girona. That's intriguing. There's a lot of intriguing matchups. It's just as far as name brand teams, you're lacking a little bit. So it could be interesting. Craig, what's happening? So with all this being said, the player database, I did have a brief look beforehand. There's a lot of players I do not know. That is for sure. Shout out to the other projectors kind of putting their percents in here. Some of these teams are not going to have them. And some of them, they usually do it like overnight tonight. So we're going to reload this in the morning. And that's kind of what I use to make sure. That's why I've been kind of waiting a little bit. What's your strategy for MLS players since their prices are crashing out? It's the same thing every year. It's disappointing. Like they crash really hard. But with Europe coming back, no one really cares about MLS, to be honest with you. And kind of with Challenger, like, yeah, your MLS players can score well, but the amount of utility is kind of dwindling down, especially Leagues Cup. We can't even play the players. A lot of teams are eliminated. Whenever League comes back, we're single-digit games left for most teams. You have playoffs, but then they're all tough matchups. So, like, this stretch, you're probably not going to, get many rewards as far as MLS players unless your team smashes or you have, the high-end pieces are still going to score well. But you're going to be fighting with all of Europe. We don't even have all of Europe back. You're kind of already seeing that shift. As an MLS, this is almost all my time is MLS. I find myself looking to Europe because I'm more interested in watching Europe than watching MLS. Like I was pumped to watch a little bit of Championship today. I watched Luton Town lose to Burnley. I think it ended up 4-1. Pretty sure I turned off at 3-1. But yeah, I kind of would rather watch matches like that than watch MLS at this point in the year. Every year I kind of get that hype back up in the off season, but it's just a grind for me, and I'm ready for MLS to be over, to be honest. I'll get back into it whenever, the league is back, but like Leagues Cup just kind of has completely turned me off. Did I hear your cat meow? Yes. Yeah. Cat, he just came in here. He pushes the door open and I'm not sure if he's going to come up, but he usually makes some appearances. He just gets lonely. So we get to here. We'll go through some goalies here, just kind of based on what I'm seeing. It just doesn't make sense to buy a stream team for this, but we will pick it up for the weekend. So it's just going to be like a weekend where I, actually buy the players, but we'll kind of run through. Here's my cat. His name is Midnight. Go ahead, meow into the mic, buddy. As far as kind of the top options, obviously, I actually kind of sorted this. So I made it 50%, 50% minimum start. And then these 999s, they just haven't been predicted. So I know J League goes in late, K League goes in late. So usually whenever I wake up, they're in there. So that's why I also don't build. When is Cat sets my lineup? Yeah. Only cat sounding names. That would be really tough, but that would be pretty hysterical. But kind of looking through players that I'm familiar with, you obviously want at least a 90%, 70 or better is usually solid, but like for a goalie, you want 90%. I know some of mine are 80% just because of the Leagues Cup kind of crap that we're dealing with. Casio, right there at the top, that kind of sticks out for me. Nicholas Hadel, I own, but there is a little bit of, he has a slight knock. But Casio for Cruzeiro, they've been kind of fun to watch with Barrial there. I've been kind of tuning in from time to time with him making the move over there. That's interesting. We got Malagan for Club America. John, I know a few in the community have him. He's up there high for Botafogo. Joe Richard for our boy in here has the Fortaleza. Is Redder Dead? Yeah, Redder Dead has Fortaleza. Schulte have him at 50%. We have Passveer for Ajax at 85%. Shout out to the people that put in the percents here. That makes like this sheet, it just takes it to another level just because you have all that in the same place. Obviously, you have to do more research, but it kind of gives you a starting point. Michelin's, Olafson's in really good form right now. Yeah, so Redder Dead, Fortaleza, João Ricardo. As we highlighted here, he's projected amongst the top here. You got Hugo Lloris. Will LAFC keep another clean sheet? That's a question. San Jose has been scoring. So that, who knows on that. Arias for Racing Club. Guzman, Tigres. You have whenever he's not suspended. Why is Hollingshead not playing much? It's either Leagues Cup or we're seeing this switch to Campos. And Sergio Palencia has really taken a step this year where he was that backup last year with Hollingshead in the starting lineup. But it kind of seems like Hollingshead is either getting a rest for Leagues Cup or having other issues with just kind of losing his position. Unerstel for Twente. And then you're kind of getting into pretty much, if I was kind of looking at this goalies wise, you want above a 50. Usually that's pretty safe. But I'm not always looking for the PS score as the projected score. I'm usually looking at the clean sheet. And the great thing about this is if you want to search by literally anything and sort. So I would like to do clean sheet just to see where are we looking for clean sheet. So obviously we talked about Flamengo already. We have Agustin Rossi. He's projected 46, but with this clean sheet and all that, what I would assume is he's not going to get much action at all. So you're hoping for a clean sheet that gets you that even 60. The upside just probably isn't there. That's just kind of my thinking on that. That's why he's projected a little bit lower. If he lets in one, he's shot. So that's kind of 60% is great. And then for Penarol, Washington Alger, 80% to start, 57, a nice clean sheet there. So it is nice to kind of change it up. I usually go by how much they're scoring, but it changes it up a little bit. So enough goalies. No one wants to see goalies. No one really probably wants to see defenders either, but here we are. Any of just these kind of sticking out as like, wow, it's crazy high. I've been watching Rapid Vienna a lot lately, and just they like Sangare. They have a lot of pieces that have been scoring really well. So you see Ro Yao there. I would actually like to look at him. Oops. Because he is a center back in that back line as well. Really solid AA. He had the goal line clearance already this year and a goal. So he's at 100. He came over from Rodez in League 2, League 2. A pretty solid scorer. He's interesting from since he's in the starting lineup for that team, and he should score pretty well. The issue with the Austrian Bundesliga is whenever they do that top and bottom split. Last year, Rapid Vienna really struggled, and down the stretch, it was kind of tough to play those cards. But throughout the season, whenever they have some of these soft matchups, not this matchup, but in league, they're always worth a shout. Some of these guys I don't know, to be fully honest with you. William for Cruzeiro, just from playing Rivals with my Barriel card, he's been really solid. L15 is 66, but they're in a tough matchup. Cruzeiro is playing Boca Juniors. Yeah. Negado, former Ghent player. We talked about him last game week. He's in China. Ramalho. Okay, here's your boy. Towards the top. So Alex shouted him out. 50% to start. Let's take a look at him. Again, I don't know anything about this player. A lot of these players I don't. But Corinthians, I should be watching more of because, Palacios has been injured. 100% on here. So that's interesting that he's only 50%. He's coming from PSV. Okay. Yeah, he is an absolute smasher. So not sure why 50%. That's I can't speak on the people that put these in for each one. But what I can do, we don't have Brazil on here. Do we have Brazil on here? What competition are they? Which one are they in? Oh, you got a William last week. He has been smashing. Is it Cruzeiro? There's William. Corinthians. Are they not in this comp? Yeah, they're okay. Playing Rebel Bragantino. 90% here. So I'm not sure what that 50% is about. So I would say not ignore it, but we got 90% here. Excuse me. Let's see. Do we have? They'd probably be in here. That's why. Okay. Let's see the difference here. 39 minutes ago, changed 90% here as well. Brazil so rare. Okay. Just came for PSV baller. Love to hear it. Yeah, so that's a really good shout there. Projected high. What was his price looking like? $7. That's pretty cheap, in all honesty, just based on those scores. And with him likely being a smasher, rare price 40. That's a really good shout from Alex there. If I was doing a stream team, boy, that would be one definitely to look at, especially with Brazil. I mean, more clean sheets in Brazil compared to MLS. So, like, if you're looking for that kind of, look at that. Don't check that last rare sale. I won't. But I can guarantee I know who that was. Others from like Ajax, you have Wrench, Piovi. Everybody loves Piovi. Ishmaeli. We don't have predictions in for them. You got Gressel here, his defender card. He's been okay. I don't love the matchup, so not really sure on him. Mies Hilgers for Twente. As we talk about Orer. Kadioglu, is he going to leave? Because there are talks, obviously, if you're kind of following that. The only reason I care about that is De Kuiper has been linked to there from Club Rouge, just in case as a replacement. So might be watching it. I don't think I have a single Turkish league player other than the limited that I just got, which would be interesting. Have I heard or seen about Jordan Pefok to FC Cincy? I have not. I haven't seen any of those rumors. He's kind of like one of those guys that what could have been for the U.S. men's national team, right? And I swear he changes his name every time. He's like, wasn't he? Isn't I don't know if his actual name is it Siabachu. Then he's like Jordan Pefok, however you say it. If I'm thinking of the same guy, but I haven't seen any rumors. Quite there. Keegan Rosenberry, tough-ish matchup against Toluca, but he could score well. Yeah, Jordi Alba's going to be there. He's going to have like 4 decisives, probably 2 and 2, maybe. And then others. Just kind of look at the high-end guys, kind of seeing who's projected high. Don't really want to go any lower than that. I mentioned him, Sangare for Rapid Vienna. He has been smashing. If you're unaware, he's been really good. I missed the boat on him. I'm not going to pay the price he's going. Okay. Okay. I was going to say I thought that's who that was. Did he play for like Union Berlin or I'm trying to think? I don't even know who's he playing for now. I couldn't even tell you. But like his limited for Sangare is 20. That's crazy. All over 100. But yeah, Union Berlin. Okay. Yeah, he was a sub in league, so he will be starting. Just look at his AA, 36.6, 50 with a yellow card. Crazy. So he is putting up some significant scores. He does have assist ability, and he doesn't even need those decisives to score well. Like I said last year, whenever the league kind of splits up, you see Hartberg here. Is who you played for last year. You can see some different things. So like if you're in that bottom group, it's good for you. But if you're in that top group, it can be pretty tough. But I like Sangare a lot. What are your thoughts on Orjano's destination after the season? I think they're going to trigger the buy option. I think he's going to be a Cincinnati player. You'd have to think he is. He's as good as Barriel was last year. He's an upgrade. I hate to say because I was a big Barriel fan. I mean, I still am, but he's a better player than Barriel. It's kind of crazy that they were able to pick up the next guy, and he can play that right attacking mid position. He can play wing back. Yeah, he's very versatile. How long do you think the contract? I don't know. I think he could sign like a 3-year deal, probably. I don't really know, but he's one of those guys. It's probably going to be like a jumping off point again. But everything I've seen from, pressers and things like that, Noonan said that he wants him to be with the team next year. Obviously, you would say that he's a stud. You want him in the lineup. So it's tough to say how long he lasts, but he's been really good. You got Jonathan's boy, Oscar Gluck for Salzburg, Gergich, another one for Rapid Vienna. They just project well against Trabzonspor, but I don't know if we're going to see these crazy scores. You got Lucho Acosta up there. Danny Boanga has, I think, a few midfield cards, mostly forward cards. Twente, I have no idea how you say that, but him. Sergio Ruiz looks like 50% for Granada. Gerson for Flamengo. So that's kind of one that I'm surprised is not higher with the 90%. He should be in a really good situation there. You got Barriel, tough matchup, but he's projected well, surprisingly. Mihalovic makes sense, checks out. Almada for Botafogo. Interesting. Elanusi, Copenhagen. Magnus Matson, 55% on him. Kiergaard, he's really solid. I think he had a really nice score. Let's go to Salzburg because I can't spell. I don't think he played midweek, right? Off the bench, he had 2 goals or 2 assists. That's right. He's been really good to start the season. 2 goals against Twente, 94.9, and then in 26 minutes he had 2 assists. So he is on an absolute heater to start the season. And then he had no decisivos, but still put up over 60 points. So with Salzburg, they're going to have a lot of good matchups this season. And if he can stay in that starting lineup, he's going to be a smasher. He's kind of coming into his own. So that's kind of one that I was watching. Yamil Assad, he should be at 0. I definitely changed. I might not have updated on my end, but he's not going to be in the lineup. Did I not change on here? I did not change it on there. So I didn't change on the back end. So that's on me. If you refresh it now, it will work. You got Go Ahead Eagle Star. Gone to Uncovered. Got to get your utility out of him. Former Charlotte player. Charlotte's been in the headlines. Calvin Stangs. Who could have... I can't believe that happened just out of nowhere. But as you get further down, Bogus is a good shout. Don't really want to go into that too deep. And let's get forward. Let's see what we got here. Oh boy, Seattle should have started. As much as like it's great having Apple TV for MLS Season Pass, it kind of like is annoying to navigate at times because certain things like I opened up. I don't know if maybe it's my TV. I don't know. But I opened up the app and it was like from last time I watched, it was showing all those matches, which is a little bit annoying. But I always run into that. So 0-0, 4 minutes in. We'll see how they do. I do think Seattle has a decent chance. Pumas is playing pretty well, but I think they have a solid chance to get through. All right, forwards. This has to be Denny Bwanga near the top. Bruno Nazario, we looked at him before out of China. He's a smasher. We got Silvera. He's a smasher and a really good opportunity, but he plays for Penarol, who aren't covered other than this competition. So don't go out and buy him. Well, or go out and buy him. Again, wow. The sheet absolutely loves Rapid Vienna. What could possibly go wrong? Luis Araujo for Flamengo, former Atlanta player. So Sorare Scout, if you're in here. I don't know if you still have his card. He is in a great situation there. As we said, Denny Bwanga, Kim Dae-won for K-League. Kim Chien. I had his card maybe for JG United. I can't remember. A few years ago, or like a year and a half ago. Cucho obviously is going to be in a great spot. If you have the Diego Rossi Cucho stack, you won the rewards, and you will mainly win the rewards with those two. Those are two guys that I wish I've bought forever. I just haven't, and time again, a lot of the possible rewards. I saw like several Andre Blake, Kai, and then like mini stacks, and then the mini stack of Cucho and Diego Rossi that won all the money, depending on who your other player was. That's just like a heck of a stack. Prices are low enough that you can definitely like have that stack, and then maybe like Lucho Acosta throw that in. That's just an insane team. So shout out if you have that at your disposal. We got Jesse Lingard, hamstring injury, FC Seoul. It's kind of crazy that's where he ended up. Matson's at 55% for Copenhagen. GG for Cruz Azul. hat-trick guaranteed. I don't know if he guaranteed it, but then you kind of get into Luis Henrique. I have him for Botafogo. Lucas Moura. I have Cabrera from Penarol. Will he play? I don't know, but I can tell you, possibly. Let's get a team. Let's pull up Penarol. Let's see what we got here. So Cabrera, Javier Cabrera, was not predicted. So if they're not predicted, some people do it so they aren't. Let's see. Let's change that minimum to 0 to see if it gives us any other players as well. Not projected, so it looks like just 80% from the other guys are projected starters. The other guys are not projected starters. But let's go look at the other two places. With them not being a covered team, we might not have rosters for them. Libertadores, is that where they're at? Yeah, we don't have anything here. Let's see if Predictor 5 has anything. There's the other one. Continental. Was this Suda? Or is it the same thing? That is the same thing. Libertadores. Yeah, I'm not seeing a projection unless I missed it on the other one. Yeah, I'm not seeing a projection for them. So I'm not really sure on that. I apologize. Don't really know much about the team. All right, so let's go back to all. Let that populate a little bit. And I do like to put 50% for like the minimum because I don't really care if they're 20%. Like I wouldn't get them. That's just kind of my thinking. But any others here to kind of take a look at? We talked about William, Lucho, what all positions. So the hundreds, Sangare and Bruno Nazario. We talked about him a little bit. A lot of players in good spots. It's going to be a weird game week. You're going to see some rosters that could be really interesting that takes down the rewards. I kind of like these matchups. Let's take a look at Sorare and this horrible UI. It's just terrible. To see what competitions, obviously. We talked about it with what's available. You can play under 23. One team for under 23. All-Star, you have 2 teams at your disposal. So that's going to make it a little bit tougher to win, of course. And then your caps. This is the last hurrah for caps. Cap 240. I will definitely put in a cap 240 rare team. Last hurrah. You gotta. No problem, red or dead. And then your training. So I know I'm not expecting anything. Rewards wise, hopefully. The tier 2 solid, couple tier 3s for rare. I'm pumped. And then the stream team, once the deadline's over, if I can get a profit on those guys, I'm going to lock in profit and then keep going. 340 or 390 for the vibes. I definitely don't have any sort of combination that could go that way. I got put in D1 for under 23, and I don't even have a starting goalie. I mean, you're a limited whale though, 5%. Let's see. So let's see where I got put in. Under 23 in theory. Is it this game week? All right, let's see where classic season champion. I'm in 1. My champion gallery stinks. I didn't play in season last year, so we'll be starting fresh from in season. Challenger we already had. Contender already had. Under 23, so D1 class. They're all classic, doesn't matter. So I am in D1 maybe most people's first one are in D1 for under 23. I'm not sure. But I'm pumped to mass enter 3. I am pretty set up to be able to do it. I got Hadel. Bazuna's not playing, but I'll have Cavallina and Lamans. So I'll have 3 keepers for this game week at least. And then whenever I am looking for Verbruggen, I know he's out for a little bit. But Brighton collection is what I'm building. So it'll be interesting. I really like the different options that I have. I'm really waiting for Vandenberg to get a move. The PSV, they're just not going to pay the 20 million price tag. I have Inacio, he didn't leave. So DeVos is kind of a rotation guy, but he's going to be a really good player there. I do expect Inacio to leave eventually. We've kind of thought about that forever. But anyway, I had to FOMO in because I think it'll be, yeah, that's beautiful. Love to hear it. What are Granada's chances? Let's see. Team fixtures. Let's see right here. 54%. I mean, they're up there. That's not bad at all. 45% in the clean sheet. One of the higher clean sheets that I've seen. 1.38 XG, not great. But if you have a defensive stack for them, that could be worth a shout. Goalie defender stack at home. Playing Albacete. I mean, you're on the first page. Pretty good chances. I know not a lot of teams are playing, but enough teams. You could be worse. You could be Philly down here. That's why I don't have high hopes. My gallery right now, I have other pieces, but it goes as Philly goes. Jackson Reagan, 42 already, early and often. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to all of Europe being back. That's kind of the big thing. I can't wait for EPL to come up. Yeah, Doku. It would be great if he just started and I didn't have to worry about that. I should have sold him whenever his price was sky high, but I'm an idiot and I can't sell people. I threw arrivals in. I lost by like 100 and some because, yeah, I stink and I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, cool chance. I haven't played for weeks. I got up to like D2 and then I forgot to play after playing early. So we're just on a steady relegation whenever I do play. Hopefully you guys are liking it. I'm going to start playing rivals this upcoming week. I think I'm going to grind it out a little bit maybe to try and, for the stream team, have players that I can sell for profit because I'm just keeping track of all the different amounts and stuff like that. So yeah, any other questions? Kind of a short week, still over an hour, almost an hour and a half. But any other questions, definitely let me know. Kind of if you want to see anything MLS-wise, who did not get. Don't play your Philly players. Let me play my Philly stack, and if they go off, they go off. No. This can't be a 4-4-2. It's definitely 4-2-3-1. Maybe Optus right. Lanus, I forget how you say it. Let's see. LDU Quito, 18.15% win percentage. So I'm not sure on this one. It's saying it's pretty low. This is just based on the odds, but I just don't know. I know like Nepentez has the collection of LDU Quito, at least used to. So why are San Jose going to win Leagues Cup? Wouldn't that be crazy? One of the worst teams. That'd be hysterical. Any cap players less than L15 of 40? Great thing about this is you can sort it by that. Any position FBL, or what are you thinking here? So max L15 of 40. Let's see, based on all positions, what we're looking at. So the 999s, whenever this populates, gotta get rid of that. 999, it just haven't been projected. All right, D or mid. So we'll take a look. Usually D has more options, more solid options. Like we just talked about a second ago, Granada, 80% to start here, projected 63. L15 at 37 for Carlos Neva. Carlos Neva. Let's see what he's about for Granada. See price pretty stable, even though it's, we got some buys. Any of you guys? Let's see his scores. Nothing to really write home about, but a good match. You got to take into consideration they were in the top league last year and not now. So he plays left back. You'd expect the scores to get better, being in the second division. I think with the matchup, he could be a shout at that low 37. Future matchups, he's playable as well. Racing Ferrol away, but then he's Huesca, not terrible, and then a newly promoted La Coruna home. So you do have a set of matchups here. So he's kind of in play. Twente, Salad. Let's take a look at him. L15 at 32. He's not a set starter, but he did play the last time. He did have an error, a nice 3. So I can't really suggest him. I'd rather have the Granada guy. Laos Abubakar, he should be at 65%. I'll definitely have to update that. Actually, I'll do it right now. 65% on him. 35 on Bonvito. Then you got guys, I would like a guy that's 50 plus. All right, so Carlos Neva would be my option for defender. For mid, let's see what we got here. It was 67. This is a China league. Farley Rosa. And again, I don't know, I don't know this guy. I never heard of him, but 41. He is projected to start dollar. You're not expecting the world from him, but he is in China. Had some nice scores back here. Decisive dependent, not really. He has some nice AAs here. So if he can get into this scoring, maybe he has nice AA. It seems like the team stinks that he plays on, though. 8-1 loss here. Dear Lord. So you are fighting that a little bit, but he's not the worst possible. Oops. So he's interesting. Camille Yozwia, another Granada. So maybe a Granada stack. But they're not expected to score a lot. So that's the only issue with that. Omar Campos, yeah, I have him as a 50-50 with Hollingshead. So if he starts, he's in play with that 39 L15. I don't really want to go any lower than these. No. Jonathan Lewis, he's not projected a lot, but he's in good form. Kind of decisive dependent, but 38 is his L15 for Colorado. The only issue with him is he's a hot and cold guy. He wasn't a starter for the longest time, was injured, came back. A good forward that I can use this week and usable in contender or challenger upcoming. All right, let's take a look. So in contender or challenger. So let's just isolate challenger first, because that should be no one. I just don't really know anything international from Brazil. You got 80% on Ener Valencia. We all know Ener Valencia in the twilight of his career for sure. Let's see. Contender-wise, because that's where our options are going to be. Lucas Boy. They're not projected to score, but he's projected to score. If you wanted to go full Granada, maybe they get a goal or two. They win 1 or 2-0. It's from Argentina. Decisive dependent. Ooh, holy, -11 decisive. But again, take it with a grain of salt. He should score better down the league. $3 on him. Same schedule as we talked about before. So he would have some run here. What was his percent? Was it 80? Yeah, 80% to start. Let's take a look at actual other sites as well, just to kind of get a grand scheme of the entire team. Because it's kind of, if I was going to do a stream team, I might just do a full Granada stack or a defensive Granada stack, maybe 2 defenders with a goalie, because decent amount. Yeah, a lot of guys play Europa Leagues Cup as well. Yeah, that's true as well. So let's get to what's Segunda. Let's just see what Lucas Boy Zuni, Jozuiak, former Charlotte man, Sergio Ruiz in a toss up there. Carlos Neva, 90%. We talked about him already. Lucas Zidane or Mark Martinez. So that's kind of brutal that they don't have a for sure. A locked-in goalie that you can kind of run out. So that kind of changes some things. Zidane with some discomfort may delay his debut as number 1. So it might be worth buying both keepers, play Martinez, hope that Zidane is not ready to start, but it kind of seems like he'll be the starter. You have a boy. He got transferred when he got relegated with Elche, but could be top scorer. Okay, good info for sure. So that's interesting there. As long as he stays, he could be in play. So out of these options, Pumas goal. Pumas up 1-0 after 24 minutes. Yeah, that would be the best option. And his L15 is low. Let me take out the. I was gonna say, why are all these options not great? So max, we'll make it the standard 100. Now let's see what we got. I was wondering why none of the guys are coming up. We have a Zuni as well from Granada. But again, their XG is only 1.38, so I don't think they'll have a ton of goals, but maybe they get one and those 2 guys are on it. He is projected more than Boy, but I would probably go this route. Although there is, I guess, some risk of transferring. There. Any others that kind of stick out? You got Leonardo for another China, Cecina. I haven't been following him this year, but he's always been solid. But is he getting too old? Don't really know. I don't think he has any issues in that league. Other than that, yeah, I think that would be Lucas Boyer, or however you say it, would be my pick there. Offside on that Pumas goal. I just turned and they don't have it on the scoreboard. So interesting. Good questions though, and like, as obviously, I am not an expert in some of these leagues. I've never even heard of some of these guys, most of these guys. But you can kind of see what the sheet does. It can kind of give you a starting point, and then you go through and look up. Twitter search is always your friend, especially for rumors and stuff. Run through each kind of checks and balance system that you have. You might do it differently than other people, but you can see how the sheet really just can open your eyes to players that you just kind of don't have on your radar whatsoever. Like this Bruno Nazario guy I never heard of before. And then last game week, we saw him as like some of the options. So we'll bring him back up. China League player. He's a smasher. In China, plays for a good team in China. You can kind of just obviously see how good these scores are. So it just kind of, I don't know. I got interested in the entire Sorare game for the scouting. Like I love the scouting, finding players, buying players, rarely selling players, but just kind of picking up guys and like then rooting for those teams. That's kind of how I fell in love with the game. That's why I don't think I could get out of playing the game. Like, I'll ride it to 0 just because I really enjoy the platform. Now, that's not saying that, the platform doesn't make me very disappointed 90% of the time, but the gameplay itself and the scouting is what brings me back all the time. So, any other questions? Probably wrap it then. Pretty straightforward game week. Just kind of with what you can kind of look forward to. I'm going to keep doing these. The Thursday ones right now, I have hockey practice till like 9 p.m. Eastern, so they'll be a little bit later. Start maybe start at 10. We'll see. But even after MLS is over, the plan is to, obviously I won't do the MLS like lineup questions and answers. We'll do stream teams. We'll go through the game week. Obviously we'll go through the game week info, all this stuff. And then kind of, have a show based on this, just basically the second half of what we just did. So I like the idea of just you learn more about teams, who's in good matchups and things like that. So that's kind of my thinking. Hope you guys like it. And I am up for any feedback if you guys want to see things like down the road, or, hey, just cut this section out completely. Hey, that's why we're here. Find what works and find what's fun and kind of go from there. So thanks for stopping in. Good luck on this game week. The last hurrah for Cap 240. I hope everyone wins their threshold. I'll probably go for the lower. It would be nice to go for that 390, but just going to try and lock in the lower and kind of go from there. So any last minute questions, hit me. Obviously, Twitter. I'm going to build my lineups tomorrow. I'm not going to build them on stream just because I like waiting for the morning. We'll see. Good luck for the game week. Good luck, Hershey. It's Hershey. Thanks, everyone, for popping in. Good luck, Alex, and everyone else. I'll catch you later. Again, if you need anything, DM me, and I'll get back to you most likely before the game week tomorrow. Red or Dead, thank you as well. All right, see you.